Hello. Good day. Can you hear my voice? I believe my voice is coming out clear. Welcome to today's program. So, let me welcome all of you once again to my platform. As I said yesterday, I jumped into a new software that gives me the opportunity to stream in various Facebook accounts at the same time. So let me cross-check the live program. Yeah, it's working very well. So if you're here for the first time, I would like you to like the page where you are watching from, and also click that little notification button so that you will be notified as soon as I come live to discuss on international politics. I have been working hard to make sure that I logged in with my Twitter account so that my broadcasting will also be live on Twitter. With this program, it's possible to stream on Twitter. Most of us know nothing about that. So I can see that I'm live everywhere. And so if it's one of my friends on YouTube, he said, let's get to it, So ladies and gentlemen, I would like us to look into the international politics. More especially, today's program will concern America, United States of America, and also touches European countries. It will touch the Ukrainian war versus the Russians, and the type of war that are being conducted in that particular region, and which countries are having the upper hand. So let me start with the international politics. The topic of today stated, is it a good thing to associate yourself with the Western world? That's the question. Many people have their personal opinions. On my own side, I have my own personal opinion. And that's why I'm here, to dish out my personal opinion, to tell you my stand on the international arena, international politics. War is being break out in Ukraine. Russia tried all their possible best to make sure that they solve this problem going on in Ukraine. And most of you have forgotten something that happened before, after 2014, after the Maidan coup. As Russia took Crimea, something happened in Ukraine that nobody is longer talking about it. It's like, it's gone and we shouldn't be talking about that. Should it be that way? I don't think so. Why? Because Malaysia Airlines has been forgotten. The Malaysia Airlines that was shut down in Ukraine, today, by that time, Malaysia Airlines was shut down for Europeans to join the Americans to place sanctions on Russia. They blame everything on Russia. That Russians or the Russian supporting side are the one that shut it down. That is what they said. And today, the same war is raging. Russia have stepped into that war. Do you know another heavy thing that happened? Pipeline was blown up, and nobody knows who blew it up. Maybe it's the Russians that blew that pipeline up. Gas project. Yes. And the same people are the one dominating the whole narrative and media, social media, all over. All of them keep on repeating everything lying to the world, manipulating to the Stone Age. Before your eyes now, they are preparing the same type of system they did in Russia, Ukraine, between China and Taiwan. It's in making, and most of you are not even registering it. Tomorrow you will start blaming China. One way or the other, maybe it's like the Chinese did it. The people you are dealing with is the same people that were fighting war on terror. Yes. Instead of terrorists to disappear, a whole world power, military, the largest military power on planet, the largest financial system holder, is fighting terrorism that are transacting their businesses with dollars. Instead of terror to disappear, as they claim that if Saddam Hussein disappear, Middle East will be like paradise. Saddam Hussein disappeared, terrorists expanded. All of a sudden, it's no longer Saddam Hussein, it is Iran. If Iran collapses, if Iran is being destroyed, Middle East will be in peace. And the same language is coming up in Ukraine. Europe will no longer be a safer place with Putin, not Russia, with Putin. Putin war. People are not reading meaning. Calm your brain down. Monitor how these people operate. Gaddafi is the evil. Gaddafi is the state sponsor of terror. All these people has been assassinated. Did the terrorists disappear? No. Terror expanded. Imagine under the watch of France and United Nations military, terror become lucrative business in Mali. Wherever these people enters, things get worse. I'm just touching areas for you to use your brain, bring things 1 + 1 together to ask yourself, does it worth it for you to associate yourself today, 2023, with the West? If I'm calling the West, it's America and European nations. Why did Russia went to war in Ukraine? Most of you have access to limited information. Do you know that as this war is raging, as this war is going on, a lot of crime is being conducted against Ukrainian citizens as I'm talking to you now by their so-called friends. As this war is going on, not that the bomb of Russians are wiping the military, but there are, how will I put it, NGOs in Ukraine. Do you know what they are doing? Do you know the largest business now going on in Ukraine? If I ask you, what will you answer? Do you know anyone? Can any of you tell me the largest business going on in Ukraine as I'm talking to you now? Many don't know. Let me look around. If I will look at the chart, if somebody may tell me the best business, the lucrative business raging on in Ukraine, nobody is here to answer. But let me help you a little. That's why I'm here, to enlighten you, for you to know that organ, some of these videos you are seeing that Ukrainians are grabbing young boys on the street, that they want to send them to the war front. Most of them don't reach to the war front. They disappeared. A lot of Russian soldiers are seeing Ukrainian soldiers that their organs has been harvested from heart to lungs to kidney to every name it. Even they find bucket that is being used to transport organs in the war front. Why will the war end? Why should this Ukrainian war end? It shouldn't end because Ukrainian war is going on. People are dying at the war front, but all the same, they are saving lives in Western world because organ is very scarce in the Western nation. That's why every part of the Western nation want to get involved, because if you are not getting involved, they will not allow you to transfer your own organs that was harvested for you to your country. They will divert it. Now, what you ask yourself, why should the Ukraine continue? Because their leaders, their political elites are under the payroll of the mafias. They always says, when war is being broke out, money is being made. Many don't understand. They think that it's only the military industrial complex that are making money. There are individuals. Their job is to tunnel people's organ. They say that a lot of conscripts that are being picked on the road never reach nor register that they have joined the military, but they are missing. Everybody saw them that the military took them and put them inside their van in the name of taking them to the location where they will be trained to send to the war front, but they never made it there. In the open space, this crime against humanity is being committed. But if it's being committed under the umbrella of the West, that is for the protection of freedom of democracy or the spread of democracy. Yes. Does it worth it for you to identify yourself with them? Imagine they killed the people that board flight from Netherlands to Thailand to Malaysia. And they blocked Malaysia from getting involved in investigating the death of their pilot, their plane, and the passengers that in their plane. They blocked them. They did not allow Malaysia to participate in investigation. They only came up with a paper showing Russia is the cause of the crash, and the Malaysia said no. We are not so stupid that you are not the owner of the flight. Thousands of people are involved in that flight, that they are not only your citizens, but they collectively blocked an independent sovereign nation from investigating the cause of their plane crash. Who are you? They are the West. And when they say it, you have to take it because it's the truth. That is, yeah. If you remember the cowboy, have you watched the cowboy before, cowboy films? That's the mafia game. Everywhere, Putin is the problem. Putin hike, Putin this, Putin that. Do you know that the bombing of this gas pipeline has been planned since 2021? Since 2021. They have been planning with the Norwegian American government, with the Norwegian government in support of the British on how to destroy that gas pipeline in collusion with Germans themselves. Because as the Russians entered Kiev, most of the news that all of you believe that, hey, Russia entered Kiev, Ukrainians battled them, killed them, kicked them out. It was a lie. It was Israeli Prime Minister that mediated that peace, that Ukraine will come to table and start negotiating and sign the thing that Russians are demanding for, that made Russia to pull their soldier out of Kiev. But Russians never knew that Germany, Britain, America was coordinating that thing from Israel. They are the one. After Russia pulled out, they asked Israeli president that is stop. Germans tell him not to get involved again. But if you see Germans today, they behave as if somebody is pressing them to do what they don't like. They have been part of the game from beginning. They have been part of the game from day one. The truth is coming up. Ukrainians has no soldiers again. It is the West that are renting the people fighting in Ukraine, and let's say 70% of them are Ukrainians, 30% are outsiders, foreigners. Their men has been grounded. The Western nation, they are in Africa. Look at Somalia. Terror never ends. Look at Kenya. Terrorism goes on in Kenya. Look at the whole North Africa is full of terror. Going down to West Africa, they are spreading it like no man's business. Only to distract the indigenous people from noticing what is going on in their territories, and they are mining their resources free of charge and leaving to their countries. The only people that are here to help the planet is Russia, China, India, and South Africa, and Brazil. That group they created is going to save the planet. Imagine the West sitting down in their room, deciding on international affairs, how much the world should buy product from Russia. They are also buying it, but they are pressurizing India to stop. Who is saying? If it's in Igbo language, they say, Onye kwuru that thing. Onye kwuru that thing. That is what India is asking. India says, what we buy in a day from Russia, what we buy in a year from Russia is what Europe buys in afternoon. The product India consumes in a year is what Europe buys from the same Russia in one afternoon. But they are pressurizing India to stop supporting Putin. Even the Americans are even importing goods from Russia till tomorrow. The only fool among all this international politics, international game, is Africa. Because if you go to Africa, fuel is very expensive. Why is it expensive? Because they are not buying it from Russia. All the fuel that Africans are consuming are coming from Netherlands. Recycled one. Refined. Nigeria is no longer refining their oil. Nigeria is importing refined oil from the West. Very expensive. If you go to Nigeria now, there are scarcity of fuel. A crude, one of the largest crude oil producer. You may ask yourself, why can't they build refineries? Try it and you will die tomorrow. Try to build that refinery. That government will collapse. You have independence, isn't it so? America is warning Africa to distance themselves from China and Russia. Why should you listen to them? Why can't you go hungry of dollar today and be free of everything tomorrow? Look at Zimbabwe. They sanctioned Zimbabwe to Stone Age. Go back and read about Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is now using gold to produce their currency. the West can no longer control the economy of Zimbabwe. It has fallen out of their hand. Oops. Because the real currency is gold. And that gold is in abundance in Africa. Why should you allow somebody to sit down in his comfort zone and making the entire African continent to remain wretched because you want to compete with them? In a normal circumstance, African market is supposed to be closed market until we develop to their level before we open our market to compete with them. But they pressurize Africa to open their market. Whom are you going to compete with? You can't compete with no shit. They will render you useless. I do cry when I see African citizens comparing their country. And look at our stupid government. We could have been like America and England. Do you know how many years? Thousands. How many years these people fight to find themselves where they are? Do you think that it's under 40, 20, 80 years? They have been fighting to know themselves for almost 400 to 600 years. But you want your government that has nothing. The worst thing that happened to Africa is the disarming of South Africa. Disarming them from nuclear bomb is the worst case scenario. The only continent on planet that has no one nuclear bomb is Africa. And look at how they are dealing with them. To tell you, if you want to be respected, if you want to be something on this planet, you must possess at least 5 nuclear bombs. At least 5. To be able to survive. And Africa need to get nuke to be able to control their resources. The largest resources producer on planet has no nuke. Then what are you? You are crayfish. You are fish that they will be catching whenever they want. Even though the Middle East of yesterday has nuke. They are being respected. But the entire Africa, the largest continent on planet, has no one nuke. Do you want to survive? Do you want to survive? Do you want light as they address Africa as the darkest continent? Do you want Africa to experience Goten? If you want Africa to experience something good, you must develop your military industrial complex. Let them sanction you. Look at North Korea. Have they died? Have North Korea died? They will tell you all sorts of fake news through their social media and through their media. How North Korea is this, is that. Have you visited North Korea? Americans do travel to North Korea. Oh, flights do land in North Korea? Unbelievable. I thought that the way they have sanctioned North Korea, maybe if they see plane, they will be looking at it as if alien visited their country. So if Africa knows that North Korea have not yet died, cooperate with North Korea and bring in nuclear technology to Nigeria. Bring nuclear tech to Nigeria to give Africa maximum security. Look at Russia with nuclear bomb. The largest military on planet, Russia is among the largest military on planet, are being bullied by the West. Do you see how they're attacking Russia? They are not going all in. They are going small, like taking it gradually. Russia will set red line. They will be cutting it little by little. And Russians are watching, and they are cutting it. Before you know it, they are coming almost all in. I know that the war in Ukraine is not war like fighting a strange nation. Ukrainians are brotherhood with Russians. Only that whenever European interest is to be protected, neo-Nazi, terrorism, terror will be their friend. It's in Syria. In Syria, they wanted to allow terror to overrun Syrian government, and They are happy to work with terror than to work with Assad. That is the interest of the West. Whenever, do you know the people I pity? Do you know the war going on in Syria? Let me repeat myself. I have said this thing around 2008 and 2009. The time that I think a Turkish ship was traveling to deliver humanitarian aid to Palestine, and the Israeli military jumped into that ship, and Turkey pressurized Israel to apologize on open air, and they did it. That day I said, Turkey, your days are numbered. The terror that you allow to cross your territory to enter Syria will be the highest headache, the highest mistake ever made by Erdogan, is allowing such a thing. He could ask other like Jordan, all these people, for the terrorists to pass through their own territory, but they allow that thing to happen. Now, in Syria, the little enclave that is terrorist harbor, America owns the whole terrorist operating on this planet, belong to United States. Every terrorist, whether you like it or not, belongs to US. Both Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, Islamic State, call it whatever you like, belong to United States. That is the tools of their foreign policy. As Afghanistan started pushing Americans to leave, didn't ISIS start appearing in Afghanistan? They start lifting ISIS from Middle East down to Afghan with their jet, with their planes. I will ask Russia to please do your diligent work. How do you do it? Combine with China. Sit down with China. There are difficult decisions to be made. Move military technology to Nigeria. Back Nigerian military up. Let them develop their military industrial complex. Because for you to succeed to rule this planet, for your fair world order to succeed, you must have a very strong foothold in Africa, not Mali, not Ivory Coast, not Central African Republic. Go and secure the heart of Africa. You're already in Egypt. You're already in South Africa. The remaining thing that Russia and China needs to govern this world, this planet, is Nigeria. Take my word. I'm not joking. Look at what America did after the Second World War. They picked the Western nation, these European nations. They fixed them. They set up their structure. They set up everything about themselves. They develop their economy. They transfer technologies. And they seize and block and control everything that goes on. That is what Russia and China need, including India. India is good in tech. That is what you people need to do in Africa. And your target should be Nigeria. America is spending, Britain is spending. Go in and spend. Seize the heartbeat of Nigeria, the military. Seize it. Develop them. I know that my people can be independent. I remember when the war broke out in Sierra Leone, what Nigeria did. Upon the British tried to stop them. When war broke out in Liberia, I know that it was Nigeria that quenched everything, that opened the eyes of America, that America started working against the interests of Nigeria, penetrating every loophole in Nigeria. But Russia, you were among it. You supported them. You helped them to destroy Nigeria. Today, they're after you. And it's almost you're alone. Had it been, you were leaking a lot of, all the whole thing you're observing in Africa, leaking every plans to Nigeria and helping Nigeria to block their ass by then, I'm talking of 90s, you won't be standing alone today, Russia.